Hey folks, welcome to the 30 in 5. That's right. We give you 30 minutes worth of news in a 5, hence the name, a 30 in 5 here on 560WIND.com. And first off, let's go with what's been the story all week long. Joe Paterno is fired by the Board of Trustees, most of whom were there during some of this stuff that was going on at Penn State. If you're living in a cave, here's the deal. Sexual abuse allegations against Jerry Sandusky. Paterno, like the fourth or fifth guy in command, there's a discussion about how much he knew, but he was the only guy who made the call. Now, what happens if McCleary, who actually saw a rape taking place, went to his father and they just told Joe Paterno it was much ado about nothing, but he reported it anyway. Joe Paterno's out of a job today before all the allegations have been brought out. Now, that being said, the Board of Trustees' job is to brand and the image of the university. So Joe Paterno's involved in that. And could Joe Paterno have done more? Yeah. Has he been maybe at this late age at the wrong place at the wrong time? Yeah, but he was at the right place for 30 plus years. I believe that Joe Paterno, okay, at the end of this situation, will be somewhat vindicated, although morally he will never be vindicated. His image will be tarnished. In the meantime, McCleary still coaches. He's on a leave or something. And Curley is still on administrative leave. And you know what? He's still getting paid. How does that happen? How does that happen? See, that's why there's issues going on at Penn State as far as writing and everything else. There's one kid that said, hey, you know what? I just went by the Joe Paterno library where he donated $10 million, raised funds to have it built and everything else. And he says he's the guy out by a phone call over 46 years of employment, or maybe longer, 60 total as an assistant and everything else. So we'll keep track of what's going on with this. The situation is messy. They got a game this coming Saturday. Are you kidding? Against Nebraska. Last thing on most people's mind. I'm right north of the village of Rosemont, from the 9th largest convention center to restaurants to theaters, sports venues, and hotels. 5 minutes from O'Hare, you got it all here. Rosemont, you can't miss it. As far as this is concerned, it's sort of funny too, because Conrad Murray, the doctor for Michael Jackson, can't get bail. He's a danger to society. But Jerry Sandusky is walking around Happy Valley. He can go to a 31 different flavors and hang out. How does that happen? Michael Jackson's alleged pedophile and drug addict, okay, who hired a doctor for $150,000 a month. Who wouldn't want that job if they were a doctor? The doctor had no history of flight, no history of issues, no history of crime before this. Now he has been convicted, but he can't get bail. Sandusky still walks around. And in the meantime, how about this? This is how things are treated differently. Who's one of the most famous and celebrated popes of all time? Pope John Paul II. And what went on during John Paul II's regime, if you want to call it that? He's a wonderful man. I love Pope John Paul II. But there was sex abuse scandals all over the place. All over the place. So should he have been asked to leave as the top man during a sexual abuse scandal that spans across the United States still? And there's issues in Europe now that I knew would come out. In the meantime, they're trying to get Penn State on the right track, so they're going to have to pay out money to the victims. The Catholic Church never made a move on Pope John Paul II because they said, hey, he's in Rome. This stuff's not going on when he's not around. Hence, if it happened at the Vatican or if it happened at one of his churches, maybe he would have been more directly involved. Bottom line is he's still in charge of the church at the time. Eddie Murphy stepping down because Brad Ratner made a homophobic remark, who is going to be the producer, or who was going to be the producer of the Oscars. Murphy was brought in and handpicked by Ratner. He made a homophobic remark. He apologized for it. Murphy thinks he's being hung out to dry by the Hollywood elite. Murphy's gone. So get ready for Doogie Howser. I don't know. I was really looking forward to Eddie Murphy. Herman Cain last night getting cheers, and his poll numbers up this morning after a debate on CNBC where the CNBC people were booed for asking about Herman Cain's alleged impropriety when it was an economic thing. And basically, the media was booed for being based one of these deals where they think they're just trying to get Cain. It was a Republican debate, but it was on CNBC, and the people in the crowd, a lot of them were pro-CNBC people. But yet, there was hardly any applause for the news media last night. Ryan Sandberg interviewing with the Cardinals. How about if he gets the job? What are Cub fans going to say then? Huh? And there is football this weekend. We'll tell you more about that tomorrow. Weather today, it's getting fall-like. It's beautiful. It's been the Mike North 30 in 5 on 560WIND.com. Flood Brothers Disposal and Recycling Services are professional waste haulers. Now, the Flood family is big on service. It's our #1 priority, and we offer extremely competitive pricing because the Flood family is here to help you in this tough economy. Remember, at Flood Brothers, we build relationships, and the only thing we're big on is service. Call us at 773-626-5800 or floodbrothersdisposal.com.